Which case was Miss Dudley's? I forgot.
Dakota Campbell.
Okay. Right. What about Zachariah Freeland? Zachariah Freeland.
1 second. You're right.
24 CF 533.
Judge, some of these we were appointed on and some of them we were not.
I'll point you on this, Mr. Freeland. Would y'all send me an order on Mr. Campbell?
I believe that Ms. Dudley has sent it already, and I guess the court has signed it, Your Honor, I think.
All right. What's Mr. Freeland charged with?
Smuggle contraband into the jail.
I don't think an information has been filed as yet, and that would be the actual. They've got you arrested for trafficking and are alleging that you had 4 grams or more of fentanyl in your actual or constructive possession.
Okay.
And trafficking in Florida is based purely on weight.
Yes. But I did say
Is
how
the
much
state seeking no bond, or is there an agreement to a bond, or you putting on any evidence, or what?
Your Honor, it's a first-degree felony. He's facing a 7-year minimum mandatory. At the very least, the state would ask for the bond schedule to be applied, whatever it calls for a first-degree felony.
Judge, we don't have any information regarding flight risk or anything like that, other than the fact that he's going to be facing a mandatory minimum. And I don't think we've got an actual weight on it.
We don't have FDLE yet. It's
All
too
right,
soon, Your Honor.
what kind of bond do you want? What's on the schedule for that?
For a trafficking amount, I would ask for a 50,000 cash or professional count 1 and 10,000 cash or professional count 2. The smuggling contraband.
No, I need to write on, take it back to the office. But they gave you a copy of the arrest report
No,
when
they
you
didn't.
had your first appearance.
No, they didn't.
Okay, well, I'll make a note for Tim to send you a copy.
All right, I'll set a 50,000 cash or professional on count 1 and 10,000 cash or professional on count 2.
Thank
So
you.
that'd be about $6,000.
Thousands is what it's going to be to.
Gallardo up next.
This is 24 CF 545, State of Florida versus Shannon Gardo. What's Mr. Gardo charged with?
He's currently charged. He was on probation on 20 CF 128, and he committed domestic battery by strangulation. The state does have information that the victim wanted to decline pressing charges. However, there were visible injuries on the neck of the victim consistent with the strangulation. I believe this defendant would be eligible, entitled to a bond on the new law, but I would ask the court to hold them with no bond on the VOP.
Judge, what I have in front of me is just the new law violation. I don't know if there are any other allegations for the, here we go, I've got a violation probation report here. It looks like there's some technicals. failing to complete some stuff, but the main thing is this case. There's also a couple of positives, UAs. Judge, I'm going to ask that the court impose a bond. Does anybody know if the victim was wanting contact or?
I'm not aware of that, whether she want to contact or not. We haven't had contact with
So
the
on a
victim
VOP,
yet.
I'm going to go with no bond at this time. I mean, that could change if, And then on the, what was it, domestic violence?
Domestic violence, yes, Your Honor. It's a third-degree felony.
2,500 cash or professional.
And if we can impose, Your Honor, a pretrial services and no contact with the victim, and remind the defendant that the no contact applies even if it's incarcerated, so he cannot call from the jail.
Yeah, no contact with the victim. Don't contact her even from jail, because that's considered contact, okay? All right, thank you. Next one is Mr. Griffin, 24 CF 546. What's Mr. Griffin charged with?
Charged with felony battery. I'm not sure the reason for setting it for this pretrial
Or
detention.
appoint
hearing.
public defender?
Thank you, Judge. Judge, I'll be able to answer that question.
Even in this case, Your Honor, there is a VOP, and it showed, yeah, zero bond on the VOP.
Judge, it looks like the reason it was handled as a felony is because it's a 2+ battery. It's battery with a prior conviction, rather than aggravated battery or felony battery with great bodily harm. The injuries are described as minor.
Where's he working? Does he have a job?
Sir, do you have a job?
Yes, sir.
Doing what?
I was heavy equipment operator, and I was also going to CDL school.
I mean, working with who?
Brock Built Homes.
Who?
Brock Built Homes.
Where's that located?
The company's originally out of Atlanta, but they're building homes in Sandestin.
I mean, you live in Okaloosa County?
Yes, sir.
Where do you live at?
284 Limestone Circle. I stay in Crestview.
And who's the alleged victim on this? Who's the alleged victim on this?
Judge, I've got the name here, but I don't think it indicates the relationship.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Your Honor. Agreed. But he would be entitled to a bond, Your Honor, and I'm not going to request in this case unless the court wants. I think that was no bond on the VOP by Judge Ketchel. He signed that because it was a case in the South End, and then he picked up this new law. As far as the state is concerned, I will leave it up to the court to decide.
You got a wife?
Yes, sir.
Is that the alleged victim?
Yes, sir. And she's called the state attorney's office to, according to my mother, that she was trying to drop the charges because
Where's your mom live?
my mom stays in Fort Walton.
If I let you out on bond, you can't go back to where your wife's living until this all gets straightened out. Do you
I
understand?
understand that totally.
What kind of bond can you make?
Really low as possible. I mean, because I pay child support every week, $300. Like I said, I was trying to go to CDL school. I was paying $100 a week for
How many
that.
counts does he have?
Only one on the new law, Your Honor.
And that's, what, domestic violence battery?
It's a felony battery because he has a prior one, but it would be a misdemeanor battery if he didn't have prior record.
I mean, I could possibly come up with $100 or $200.
All right, I'm gonna set $1,000 cash or professional, so you come up with $100 for a bondsman, okay?
Yes, sir.
No contact with the victim.
Yes, sir.
So, if she's gonna contact the state attorney's office, that's up to her. Don't call her.
Oh, I'm not.
You go stay with your mom or whatever till you get with Mr. Williams, get this straightened out, okay?
Well, he'll actually be represented by Mr. Gibbs, Judge.
Gibbs, he's in the
my
public
turn.
defenders. But get this straightened out, okay?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
don't
So-
contact her, no calling her, writing her. Can't use a third party. The attorney can contact her for you, but you can't have a friend contact her for you, okay?
Yes, sir.
So,
So what about is there a VOP? Because I never,
I didn't understand the question.
Is there a
Is
VOP?
there a VOP?
Yeah, the record shows that the case has been reopened for a violation of probation. And I can give you the case number.
because I didn't have no first appearance or nothing on it, so I
It's
didn't know.
2015 CF 289.
So does that count one, the domestic violence, a new one?
Yes, it's one count.
And then on the VOP,
It's one count, VOP.
$1,000 signature bond. So you can sign yourself out on that one, okay?
Yes,
You don't
sir.
have to put up money on that unless you don't show up for court.
Okay.
Then you'll pick up a new charge, so make sure
No,
you,
I'm
make
definitely
sure you
not
get with Mr. Gibbs, okay?
on the VOP. I have
The other bond is $1,000 cash or professional, so you gotta put up 1,000 or get a bondsman for $100,
All right,
okay?
I will. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thompson?
Good afternoon,
That's one I don't have here.
Is this for a bond? I mean, a detention hearing?
Your Honor. It is a detention.
Okay.
Judge.
All right, sorry.
Brandy Merrifield and Tim Flaherty on behalf of Blake Thompson and 24 CF 535.
Okay. Okay, what's Mr. Thompson charged with?
Your Honor, he's currently been arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. And it's the state's intention to not proceed with an actual pretrial detention hearing at this time based on the victim's wishes, but to merely consider the court in giving a bond.
So he's got 2 counts?
He's got 2 counts, Your Honor.
What's count 1?
Aggravated battery on a pregnant person, that's a second-degree felony.
What kind of bond were you asking for?
I was going to leave in the discretion of the court, Your Honor. There's contradictory statements made by the victim in this case.
What about Ms. Merrifield? What are you asking for?
Judge, after speaking with Mr. Thompson, at most, he could afford a $20,000 cash or professional bond each count. He is a heavy equipment operator, so he has a...
All right, what I'll say is, what was the second count?
Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. It was with a firearm. Also a second-degree felony.
You've talked to the victim.
She's actually here. I was actually going to call her up and have her indicate to the court her wishes to have contact. It's the state's position we are asking for a no contact order based on the facts of the case. And the victim has written several declinations and submitted a couple of them to our office and maybe even to the court. And so I just wanted her to testify as to the reasons why she wants contact, make sure she's not in fear, because it's the state's position there should be no contact.
Well, what is her name?
Shelley Thompson.
Ms. Thompson, come up. Is this Mr. Blake Thompson, your husband, I presume?
This is Ms. Shelley Thompson. My understanding this is
Would you raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court is the truth, so help you God. You are Mr. Blake Thompson's wife,
Yes, we've been together 12 years.
and you're wanting, it's my understanding, he's alleged to have harmed you or in some manner. You're asking the state attorney, or are you asking for no violent contact with Mr. Thompson?
It's fine, I just want contact. We have 5 children. I'm pregnant. Sole provider of my family. I just want my family back.
Has anyone forced you, threatened you to come up
No.
here and ask to have contact with Mr. Thompson? You have no problem with him coming back home?
No, sir.
So you say you got 5 kids?
I'm pregnant now.
It's 2 counts, right? Miss Glisson, 2?
I have a couple of questions.
All right, go ahead.
Ms. Thompson, did you tell law enforcement originally that your husband had brandished a pistol and held it to your head and said that he would, don't recall?
We're speaking of that.
Later, you actually
Oh, you're
you met
talking
with law
okay.
enforcement officers. A few
Sunday
days
night.
later,
Sunday night, he turned himself in because we both was aware. The cop had called me and told me that they were going to issue a warrant. So, of course, you know, Blake wanted to go ahead and turn himself in because there was no point in issuing a warrant because he wasn't going to try to run.
but he
I had
did flee
actually
the
talked
scene
to the
after
cop.
this. And
Objection, Your Honor. I ask that the witness be allowed to finish her answer.
He left before, whenever we were arguing, he left because he was trying to calm me down. Because I was completely, you know, I was losing my mind because of the fact that, you know, I just don't like arguing because of my previous marriage. I went through a really abusive marriage for 4 years. I have PTSD because of it. So Blake was doing the right thing by trying to leave the house. I thought he was leaving me forever, you know.
Let me ask
I
you
lost
this.
it.
He returned himself in?
Yes, sir. I went with him Sunday night and it was on the side of
All
the
right,
road.
what I'm going to do is,
It was,
fled.
he didn't know until Sunday morning that he was actually, it was Sunday at, I think it was 12:06, I called his brother and actually let him know that the law was going to issue a warrant, and that's the night he turned himself in. He literally asked the cop if he could come explain to the kids what's going on. He said goodbye to our kids, and then that's whenever me and him both met the cop at the end of Thames Road, turned himself in. The
all
body.
right, I'm going to make it $1,000 cash or professional on each count. No violent contact with the victim. So you,
could we also ask for no possession of weapons?
We already
Yeah.
done that too.
And just so the court is aware, there is a risk protection order that is currently in place.
okay.
All of the weapons have been seized by a third-party judge.
All right, so Mr. Thompson, you can post, what you'll do is, it's $1,000 cash or professional on each count. You post $100 each with a bondsman, and you're to have no violent contact with Ms. Thompson, okay?
Sir.
And get with Ms. Merrifield and Mr. Flaherty and work on this case. And if you mess up, and I'm gonna have to put you back in, no bond, okay?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
Your Honor.
thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, this is Mr. James Franklin Spara,
Yes, sir.
appoint the public defender.
Jay Williams with the Public Defender's Office.
Okay, what is Mr. Spara charged with?
Your Honor, Mr. Spara is charged with one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and one count of attempted first-degree premeditated murder. The state is seeking pretrial detention in this case.
What does the defense say? You relying on an arrest report?
I am, Your Honor.
Judge, Mr. Sparrow indicates that he's just started a job, that he'll comply with whatever conditions the court wishes to impose, but he does seek a bond in the case.
On the, you said attempted first-degree murder?
Yes, Your Honor. Attempted murder and one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Was this the shooting in the head?
It is not, Your Honor. This is a stabbing, actually.
Stabbing one?
It just happened a couple of days ago.
Okay.
The victim and the defendant lived together here in Crestview. The victim confronted the defendant about not paying rent, so he was going to go through the eviction
Oh, yeah.
process.
I signed that.
Yes, Your Honor.
I signed that arrest report, I think.
It came through just a couple of
Yeah.
days ago, and the state would argue the defendant's a danger to the community.
I'm going to go with no bond on the attempted first-degree murder. What count is that? Is there a count yet?
Let's see.
Count two?
Count one looks like it's an ag assault, Judge.
Count one, I'll go with 20,000 cash or professional.
And on count one, with that 20,000, could we go ahead and attach a no contact order with the victim, no possession of firearms
Yeah.
or weapons? Because he lived with the victim, maybe a one-time return with law enforcement.
Well, I'm saying no bond at this time on count two, I guess. No contact with victim, no possession of weapon or firearms. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And no bond on count two, and that 20,000 cash or professional is on count one. All right. Next.
Ms. Rivers will come out and see you in the next few days.
Next one. Oh, that's it.
I had a Dakota Campbell, but I think that's been resolved
That's Miss
already.
Dudley's,
Ms. Dudley's, okay.
isn't it? Isn't that Miss
It
Dudley?
is, Judge.
All right. So we just have arraignments this afternoon and then one sentencing?
It seems that way, yes,
Yes, sir.
Judge.
That's Miss Sandler.
Ms. Sandler, yeah.
Judge, if I can be excused,
Yep.
you guys going to be in here? Okay, I'll just leave my stuff I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay.